Hello, all. Welcome to another Contcast Game Week 32. Many of us are wildcarding this week, so we have a lot to get through. I'll go left to right. I have JK.
Hey, guys.
Zofar.
Hello.
Top Marks.
Hello.
And Bo is in and out. He'll be joining us from the lake every so often if his signal holds. So, okay, this is the first week we're going to go through and use this wonderful spreadsheet that Top Marks created, which I think is going to really make it easier for us to track things as we move forward. So I'll share my screen and we can go through that. You guys see the agenda there?
Yep. I can indeed. So I'm going to make life a bit easier and I'm going to whack my screenshot into the Contcast group. So I'll just post that up now.
You want me to share the Contcast group instead?
This feels so organized.
It is. It is very much to make it easier for us. I have it up on this agenda, JK, if you want to read it.
Oh yeah, so there we go. Well, I've actually made my transfer since then, so the screenshot that I put on the group is slightly different.
Oh, all right.
Because I've actually made my transfers now.
Let me go back to my screenshot then. Can you see the WhatsApp?
The minute we've got a blank screen.
You don't see that at all?
No, it's just blank screen.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to have to take a minute and bring up WhatsApp Web into my web browser because I'm on the actual Windows app right now. For whatever reason, I never can get that.
If you choose the one off the agenda, I can talk you through the rest of it. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll do that. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Just choose the one off the agenda to make it easier.
All right, everyone see the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. All right, go ahead, JK.
Okay, so the first thing to note is I've now made moves. I've done Walcott and Kane to Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang for free. So I decided to work because Walcott looked like dropping, and he did drop last night, so I was a day too early. So I didn't want to run the risk of losing yet more value on the useless kit. And I figured Kane probably won't play against Chelsea. So I figured it's probably worth the risk of Aubameyang with those two home games outscoring Kane against Chelsea and Stoke. So I've gone with that one. So my first question is there anything worth a hit? And then the backup question is, given I've got 2 free transfers between now and 35 and 2 guys to lose, which 2 to lose? I'm minded towards going for Stanislas for a City mid in 35 when we've got an idea of who might play. So, for example, someone like Gundogan could be a useful punt for 1 week. But I don't necessarily see any strikers worth bringing in for 35. So I guess that's where I'm at in that one.
Deeney's not a bad striker for 33. I think it's Burnley at home.
Yeah. See, someone's going to chuckle him here, but I'm tempted to do Van La Parra to Richarlison.
I hate Richarlison.
Yeah.
I figured you might.
It's one of those perfect, looks good on paper, could be crap.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I'm looking, because Deeney is an option. I mean, ideally, that's a matter. I realistically have to lose one of Zanka, Van La Parra, or Wilson next week. So I could bring in an Arsenal defender. I could bring in Zaha as another option, or I could bring in Deeney or even Tosun.
I like Deeney because then if you're free hitting in 34, you're wild carding it, or you're 35. Deeney would have Palace, I think, at home.
Yeah, yep. It would be Palace.
Bad. Tosin in 33 is the derby, so I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, and then so obviously the other option is to bring in Zaha, who has, again, Zaha, so I avoided.
Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah, I'll be bringing him for 33.
Okay.
So he's an option to bring in for, say, Van La Parra, or I could bring in Monreal for Zanka and play 4 at the back.
My vote would be Wilson to Deeney, honestly, this week.
Yep.
Well, for this week for a hit?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, sorry, 33. I forgot we're off.
To 33, yeah.
And I like your idea of Stanislas to a City mid in 35. I think that's a good fixture to go for.
Yeah, and hopefully by 35 we've got a clear idea of who might start. Because if they're still in the Champions League, I could see someone like David Silva, for example, being rested for the Champions League, and Gundogan would probably be the favourite to take his spot.
I could see Silva being rested. Yeah, I think if the league is won by that point, or virtually won.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. I have Mustafi in my wildcard team. Getting in Monreal, though, if you're not on wildcard, I'm not sure about. The defense is suspect, right? And I'm going Mustafi just because of the price, and then I'll have somebody in 35 as well. So
I mean, theoretically, I've got 3 defenders because I've got Van Dijk, Coleman, and Otamendi already there, and I feel like making a defender transfer is a little bit of a safe, boring move. I'd rather try and chase some upside somewhere.
Yeah. My vote is Wilson Didini in 33.
Yep.
So, Zof, anyone different in mind?
No, that looks good. I like Dini because, like you said, for 35, he's got a really good fixture.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact, at least with him, he's on pen. We know if he's on the pitch, he's going to take the penalties.
Yeah, and the thing is, they don't really score too many goals under this new manager. They're quite defensive.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a consequence of them needing to pick up some points because they were dropping like an absolute stone when he came in.
But from what I read up on this manager, when he joined, he's generally a defensive manager. He's more like Kike Sanchez Flores rather than your Marco Silva.
Yeah, but that's what puts me off Dini is he feels like he's not really ever going to brace for a game.
That's my concern as well. And he plays like a good defense. Like next week he plays Burnley. Burnley generally don't concede too many to like these mid-table teams. It's like a 1-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not personally enamored by Dini, but the fact that he has a good fixture in 35 probably sways me.
Yeah, I mean, I say the other option is to lose Stanislas and then potentially lose Wilson in 35. And I could try say Jesus.
Stanislas is actually having opportunities. He's having chances.
Yeah, I do like him. I think he is. I definitely like him up until 35 when I have to lose him because he blanks. It doesn't seem any point to
Stanislas looks the better player of those two to keep.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not convinced there's anything in there really worth a hit.
Nah, probably not.
Probably not.
No, I think
Sorry, Top Mark, go on.
No, I think your defense is good. You've got a really strong defense. And for 35, I'm currently on Dini in my wildcard team with 35 in mind. He is like you. I'm having doubts about him. I'm half considering getting Austin in and just going with 2 forwards in 35 and having Austin on the bench. But Dini he's got good assist potential as well. Like he's created 10 chances in the last 6 games. Like he's not just on penalties. He's got other ways to get points. So even if they are a bit more defensive, I don't know.
And he's in my team. Yeah, he's a set piece threat too. Like, he's good at getting on the end of corners and free kicks and the like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other thing you could do is do another defender if you want to do like Coleman to Mustafi or something.
Can do.
Sorry, guys, I've got to shoot off. I'll try and jump back in later. I'll try and jump back in a bit, but I've got to shoot off for a minute. But thanks, Alex. So I'll stick as on for now. But one last question before I disappear. Would you play Shaqiri or Van La Parra?
Shaqiri.
All right. Yeah. Cheers, boys. Enjoy this cast. Hopefully I've got some time to jump back in a bit.
Sure. Okay, Zof and Top Mark, do we want to just do the bench boost question quick before we go on to the next Rate My Team?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, Zof.
Okay, how valuable is that? The one? How valuable is the bench boost chip?
That's right. Yeah, I mean it's really hard to tell. Some people.
The way I look at it personally is like, let's say now we have 7 weeks to go, right? The bench boost chip you're only using on 1 week, something like what Mark had earlier with like somebody like if you have a bench, let's say of like somebody with like 5.0 goalkeeper, 5+ defenders, I think it's too much money to leave on the bench for the other 6 weeks, assuming you'll be playing free hit in one. So I personally just feel that if each of those bench boost guys comes in with like 4 to 5, 4 to 6 points, that's good enough for me. I'll take 20 points with the bench boost. So I personally, my approach is go as cheap as possible for your bench boost.
I followed a similar approach, the only exception being keeper, because I do think that you can get a keeper maybe like if you want Fabianski at 4-7 as compared to like a McCarthy who may not be nailed going forward. But everything else, yeah, I agree. Go with the cheap defenders and, have it maybe like for me, my third forward is actually going to be Austin, who's 5'8". So it's a bench boost and having a better mid-5, if that's what it gets you, that's perfectly fine.
And what I'm looking to do with that bench boost, like with Austin now, I'll be downgrading Gross in 36 to somebody who's going to be like a Kennedy or like maybe even a King to get Kane money. So it's not something like, I'll be continuing long term. At that point, Austin becomes a 7th attacker.
Yep.
So you're getting Austin now and then or getting him in 36?
I'm getting him in now, and as well as Kennedy, and I'm going to start Kennedy this week, most likely.
Right.
But again, Kennedy's a good choice for spoiled because he's 4-7, so he is cheap. But so involved in Newcastle's attack and on set pieces. In
Newcastle play the next week, Leicester, right? So you'll be playing Kennedy there again, or would you be playing Austin away to Austin?
I had to see. I also could play 4 at the back that week as well and go 4-4-2.
Okay.
So I'll have 4 good fixtures. I can start Morgan. I mean, I'm never sitting Alonso, so I could start Alonso, start Mustafi again. I mean, you'll see when they get to my team. I could go 4 at the back in the 33.
But yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm benching Austin for the next 2 and playing Gross instead.
Yeah, that's a good play.
I mean, the other question about how valuable is the BB chip, we're still talking about getting double game week players. So you both talked about using the BB and using your bench to get double game week players. But why not get a single game week player? I mean, I agree, don't put much money on the bench. But why not get someone like Tompkins, who seems to have good attacking potential, and Crystal Palace after Liverpool have good fixtures, and they seem to be getting a bit of form? Would he not be a good choice?
I think so, but the way I like to look at it is just safety, right? Now, let's say Tompkins concedes, doesn't score every week, so that's 2 points. Now, we have at least double game week. We like to think it could be 2 into 2. But with defenders, it probably applies a bit less because I remember Nicky Shorey a few years ago in a double game week, he ended up getting 0, conceding goals and getting yellow cards and whatnot. So if you can find a good defender like a Mustafi, for example, is not a bad play necessarily.
Yeah, I feel your suggestion, though, Top Marks, does have merit. It depends on what the cheap defenders in you're getting in. Like if you're getting in a Newcastle defender, they have 1 of 2 with their fixtures in 37. If you're bench boosting, then that you could see them getting a clean sheet or at least keeping 2 points. If people are getting Saints defenders or God forbid Bournemouth defenders in for the double game weeks, that could be 2 points total from 2 games, and then it's kind of a waste of a bench spot. Whereas a guy like Tompkins could give you 2 at least, and maybe even more.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll move on. Oh boy, welcome to Jossie Cast, everyone. So, Main on the left, Dubai Reds on the right.
So we're getting a cut of this Dubai Reds money, right? I think Jossie talked to us about it today.
Oh, he did? Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Money for everyone.
Okay. All right, so main team. Valley or Vertonghen for the second premium defender spot. Right now, I'd probably go by.
Yeah.
I don't like Vert. Well, first of all, they got City in one of the double game weeks, and then they got Chelsea this week.
Yep, and they have Brighton away also. And like Brighton usually score at home. Even when there was Chelsea, I thought they were very unlucky. They hit the crossbar, had a penalty denied, etc. They usually score at home, so I don't think it's double that.
Yeah, not a good game week, double game week for Spurs.
Yep, I'm actually going Bailly and then either flopping him or Alonso out for Vertonghen after the free hit because I absolutely need a Spurs defender.
36 onwards, in fact, is when they can probably look to switch like Bailly to Vertonghen.
Yep. Damn
it, I don't really know Newcastle enough, but I would probably just go. I think say they're equally nailed.
Yeah, I think so. DeAndre's been playing well in that spot the last few game weeks. They're both going to give you about the same. I don't see much difference in attacking from either of those. Yedlin has been known to move forward more, but I don't think I've seen it much from what I've seen.
I think Yedlin's slightly better for BPS. I don't know exactly, but I'm sure Jossie can look that up.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the BPS, but that's possible.
But it's not that. But I'd rather keep that 0.2 just in case for rainy day. Eventually need Kane money or something down the line.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have a Lukaku to switch to Kane in this team right now. So if you're looking at Aubameyang, it's another million you have to find. So yeah, keeping the two is good.
I don't know what the strategy is with that. And it's asking about starting Kennedy over one of Son, Willian. That's a no for me.
Not over Son or Willian. No, not this week.
No, especially we have Caballero, Courtois is out. So Caballero can be shaky. With Caballero in goal, I'd reckon Spurs will score. So I wouldn't be better.
Agreed. Any other advice? I don't know. And I wouldn't have Lloris in Dubai Reds. I know he's kind of limited because he kind of have to get De Gea, but
well, I can't think of a better keeper. I think Lloris is probably after De Gea the best premium keeper.
Yeah, because he has a double and he can't have De Gea, so I guess he is. And I don't know if he's on wildcard in Dubai Reds. Do we know?
Yep, he is.
Okay. Yeah, I guess Lloris is it then.
How many other Jossie teams? That's it?
That's it. AK's team kind of got pushed out somehow. I'll have to.
You can tell who's there.
Delete a few spaces above it, it'll move back up.
Yeah.
That looks really close to my team.
Delete a few spaces above it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, above the picture above it, or delete any thoughts welcome where.
From here, you mean?
Either way, it's pretty easy to tell that he's got Vardy and Austin here.
Yeah, I'll move this down because it's my team. All right, there we are. There's AK. He's on a wild card now. Free hit 35, bench boost 37, 2 million in the bank. He's also thinking Aubameyang, Lukaku in 34.
So he's trying to BB in 37.
Yep. So he says his question is Newcastle worth investing in at the back. If he's not wild carding in, or if he's not bench boosting in 34, I think so. He's going to sit. And he like dumb it. Then I think it is probably worth investing now. It's less transfer you have to do, because I think you could have one of them as your cheap defenders for the bench boost in 37.
Yep.
And with
that's pretty. That team looks totally template to me. I think and with 2 million in the bank, I think he's pretty well set.
Mm-hmm. So then if he goes to Lukaku in 34, that's 1 million of that 2 million gone. So then he'll have to lose either Alonso or Batty in 36 to get Kane in.
No, he already has 2 million. If Aubameyang goes up another 0.1, he can do a direct swap.
Yeah, if Kane goes down one more.
He goes down one more. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. That's kind of similar to what I'm doing right now. I have 0.2 to play with if I can get that either from a rise or a fall from Kane. So yeah, it could work out where it's free. And unless
I like that team.
I'm sorry, Top Marks, go ahead.
I like that team. I think. Do you want to discuss McCarthy in goal? I saw some Twitter exchange with you and Lucy Zoff saying that she thought McCarthy was pretty nailed.
Yep, and I did a bit of reading on Saints forums, checked the Saints articles, the journalists and all that stuff. McCarthy's been consistently getting them points. Like that game with Stoke, they kept Stoke out 0-0 at home. He made a couple of really good saves. So he seems to be pretty safe. It's not like Foster's anywhere close in the England picture.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, I would say McCarthy and Dunk is probably more nailed than something like Ryan and Stephens and saves you 0.1.
I definitely think, Stevens is at risk. So, yeah, McCarthy, if you want to get into Saints defense, is the one to probably have.
Of course, I always think there's always one surprise team in a double game week defensively that keeps a clean sheet when you don't expect. So, rather than double up, it's probably best to spread the risk a bit.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Only double up I go with is United, which he has.
Yeah, precisely.
Yep. Okay. Let me move Bo's team down a bit. So we're on to my team now. Very similar to what we just looked at with AK. I think the big difference is I'm starting with Mkhitaryan instead of Son. Plan to move Aubameyang and Mickey to Lukaku and Son for 3 and 34, or even if it's for a hit, if there's an injury somewhere else, that's fine. Then Kane in for Lukaku. If I can make up 0.2, it'll be free. If not, I'll fund it elsewhere. So my question is just, and I think I'm going off this now, but earlier today I was wondering, is it worth starting with Jesus instead of Vardy and then switching them out in 33?
Why not go with Silva instead of Mkhitaryan? Or like a Sterling, Sane, something like that.
I like the next two, actually. I'm 35 is free hit, so I like the next two for Mkhitaryan more than I do, especially with the with the Manchester derby coming up in 33 for City.
Well, it's just the minutes I worry about. Maybe this week you'll get it, but next week with the whole Moscow thing, just seems iffy to me.
It's
but the home leg. Sorry, guys. The first leg for Arsenal is at home, so they won't be knackered after a long flight to Moscow. So I imagine that they might get limited minutes, but I can see Mkhitaryan starting both the next Premier League matches.
Okay,
a good point. Yeah.
No,
I don't know about. I mean, even now the tweet about we had to see if Aguero is ready to go. He could play a part. I don't know if it's worth the hit I'll have to have in 34 to start with Jesus now. I might just go with Vardy from the jump. I know what your guys' thoughts are.
I'd go with Vardy.
Yep.
Let's see. All right, and then lineup wise, I think I already decided, but happy to hear your thoughts. I'm going to go with Kennedy over Austin this week, although I do think Austin will play, maybe not start.
I don't think Kennedy. Kennedy has a much better fixture.
Yep, Huddersfield home.
Yeah, I suppose West Ham have Masuaku coming back as well, so maybe they're looking to freshen up a bit. The shape of their team will be better. Maybe they'll be a bit better defensively. I guess Austin would be normally my choice, but he hasn't got match fitness. So Kennedy probably makes sense, but Austin can go big. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tricky one.
It is tricky. I mean, they're going to obviously manage, I think, his minutes his first game back. I don't think he'll go 90. So that, I guess, is one thing to consider. I am going to get him in now, though, because I do think he's bang on to start both of them in double. I know they have the FA Cup game the week after that. But, I mean, honestly, if you look at it, FA Cup is nice. The hundreds of millions you get to stay in the Premier League is worth more. So I think they got to keep him and have their best striker in the Premier League matches.
That was Lucy's opinion as well. I asked her about Austin, and she had the same view that league points are absolutely crucial right now.
What are your views on Austin's injury, though? I mean, is he an injury risk?
I mean, he could get re-injured, but pretty much anyone could get injured at this point. He's fit and available, though. Worth risking.
Austin's got a worse injury record than most. I mean, sure, anyone could get injured, but Austin's got a history of it.
I agree, but all this is similar. It goes back to Stanislas. These sort of guys are gold when they play, and as soon as you buy them when they're fit and ship them when they're injured.
Mm-hmm. If I have to ship Austin out for like an Ayuk who also has a double in 37, then I'll do that. But I think the upside to him when he's fit, he scores all the time. I mean, he's that good.
Yeah, exactly. Worst case, he gets injured or something. There's always a Barnes switch available.
Yeah, Barnes too.
Would you be getting him if you weren't on a wild card?
Probably not. Not until I see them play.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I just wonder, until you see them play, we just don't know. So I think there's still an element of risk with Austin, but
sure.
And that's why I sort of don't like the fact that you booked in 2 transfers here already. Because I was thinking of doing that also. I know we were discussing it all week, but now I've tried to book only one, primarily because of this Austin uncertainty. If I feel something iffy about Austin on 34, I'll switch him on to Barnes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I could not go with Mkhitaryan, just stay Son, keep the one transfer for Lukaku, and then I have one in the back pocket in case something happens. The thing is, if I'm free hitting in 3 or 5, I have to use that one in 34 if I have an extra one for something.
Yep.
I have to see for what. And then I had to remember use that in 34 or 34, keeping it in mind for 37 because I'll be on a bench boost 37. So I almost have to get in a double game week player for 37 in that case. We'll see. Think about.
There's something to think about.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
With Mkhitaryan, the thing with Arsenal, the way they play, everything seems to be going to Aubameyang. Like when they get the ball, Aubameyang stays in the box. He's the fox in the box they always wanted.
Hmm.
They get the ball to him in the box and he shoots. Mkhitaryan, he's been slightly overperforming, looking at his stats recently. And it's really, I think, the attraction of him is, will he step up a bit? Because he needs to step up a bit. He's been getting points when perhaps he shouldn't have been. Is he going to step up? Is that connection with Aubameyang from Dortmund going to have something to do? Is that why Wenger's been playing them together in the Premier League matches? I think there's a slight. I've got Mkhitaryan in my team, but I'm slightly hesitant. And with Son, although the fixtures are slightly harder with the Chelsea and Man City, he's clearly performing at the moment. So I think that's also a tricky choice.
Very much so. I have to really give it some thought before I finally confirm a team tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the Fisherman, who's Bo's team. He is not a wild card. I know he's free hitting next week, and he's wild carding in 36.
And bench order.
Yeah. So captaincy Salah, I think it's crazy. I mean, there's options this week if you want to take a risk, but I think it's still Salah.
Yeah.
Bench order looks about right.
Yep. It's not the best map, to be honest, but it is what it is.
He's trying to find the few differentials that are going to get him to win FPL. I mean, he was talking Funes Mori earlier today for 35. So I see his point. He's trying to do something different than following the template, so it's taking a shot to get up there.
Definitely. I'm all for it.
Yep. Okay, Zof, this is your team.
Yep. What do you guys think? There's like 1 million in the bank there. So Aubameyang's going to get his double rise. So I can afford Lukaku if he goes up to 11.6 in one move. The other move is just there, like just in case, like if I want Kane, I can downgrade Willian to say Lingard if he's playing well, or like a Gross to a good Monson to fund Kane. So I think it's some flexibility there.
I like it. I like it. And then again, McCarthy, if we're confident that he's keeping a spot, that would be the only word I'd have for me.
If I bring in Ryan, the problem is if I can't afford Lukaku in one move, in case like he goes up to 11.6, which is likely. The way it's going today and tomorrow's transfers, he's going to be close to 11.6. And if he gets anything like, next week, or he does well against Swansea, I expect another rise. I don't want to be priced out of that. Then in case I'll have to downgrade somewhere.
Right. And that's why you're not going with like a Dubrankov as the second goalkeeper either, right? Because he's 0.5, he's 0.1 more.
1 more, he doesn't have I'm bench boosting in 34.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Then you need McCarthy or Ryan. Yeah, I think it's good.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're totally set on Lukaku, and you'd have him through. Did you say you'd swap him for Kane for double game at 37?
37. I'd probably do that in 36 since Lukaku plays Arsenal. So I can probably do goes to like a Kennedy or something like that, and then like upgrade of like a Lukaku to Kane. Or if Kane looks like he's really good, looks absolutely fit, I can do the move in 34 by just downgrading like Gross or Willian to somebody 1 million cheaper. So there are options then.
Yeah, you've left.
It's very template. I think which is a good thing. It looks very strong.
Yep.
I do think Gross on bench boost 34. I think you could get some good points there. I'd
rather keep him. That's the thing. I think something like Gross plus Lukaku could probably outscore Kane plus Goodmanson or something like that.
Yeah, I could see it.
Who do you bench in game week 33?
Austin. He's away to Arsenal.
Okay.
Who's Brighton having 33?
Huddersfield at home.
Oh yeah. Then okay.
Yeah. So that pretty much like the bench headaches pick themselves.
It's true.
It's nice. I mean, not giving yourself benching headaches is always a bonus.
I hate benching headaches. I mean, I don't have enough hair to have benching headaches. I pulled them out already.
Okay. This is Hurricane G's team. He's also a bench boost 37. He asked, do I add some goal threat in my defense? And I answered him earlier this week. I'm like, he already has Alonso and Morgan and VDR. I mean, what else does he want? I mean,
isn't that exactly pretty much AK's team, which we saw earlier?
Yeah, I think it actually is. It's close to it.
I think his team value is probably a little bit better because he's able to afford Mkhitaryan there.
Yeah, he is doing Mkhitaryan. I think AK went with Son. Oh no, he did. Oh yeah, okay.
Yes, Son also. That's my point. So I think his team value is quite superior.
Yeah, he doesn't have a cheapie in the midfield.
And he has Alonso, Bailly, De Gea, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think he has enough in defense from an attacking standpoint. I mean, I know he was saying, "What about Cedric?" I don't like Saints fixtures for clean sheets, which always has to be the first consideration before you look at attacking threat for a defender. So I think he's good.
What do you think about Morgan and Van der Horn?
If you're not playing them every week, I think it's fine to keep them in your team. You play the fixtures and that. Like I have Morgan, I'm not going to play him this week at all, but I will next.
Yeah, and he's got three good defenders. For like, let's say he plays Bailly, Damet, Alonso this week, then he can play Morgan, Bailly, Alonso the week after.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays Morgan, Bailly, Alonso, and then bench boost for 37. So that defense is absolutely fine in terms of the rotation perspective, also.
Absolutely, and then 36. If he doesn't switch Bailly for like a Spurs defender, you play Alonso, Bailly, and Dummett because Newcastle have West Brom right home in 36. Yeah. So he's set.
Yep, absolutely.
And we're confident VDH gets, Swansea are going to carry on playing three at the back, and he's a valid option.
I think Fernandes is slightly more secure. I think I posted a Twitter exchange with a Swans fan some time back. So Fernandes is probably more secure, but he said it's 99% he's going to be playing three at the back because he did that even in the game against Nottingham Forest where they won 8-0 or something like that. So he's not really one to tinker too much. But Fernandes is more secure.
I think it looks a very strong team. I mean, again, it's the Austin question, and we haven't seen anything from him yet, so it's a little bit of a gamble, I would say, but it's a very strong team.
His TV must be really high. I mean, to have that with Austin.
He must have a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, I guess I could have that too. I'm leaving the money in the bank to get to Lukaku and then to Kane, and he's using it on the pitch. So, and then he has, do I go 3-5-2 with Mkhitaryan and 32 and 33, or go with Kennedy and Murray and bench Son? I wouldn't bench Son.
Yeah, he does have good team value. It's 105.6 squad value.
Jeez, wow. So
1.5 million more than mine.
So to answer his last question, I would go 3-5-2 this week and bench Austin.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
And don't get Kennedy. Is that the idea? Or get Kennedy in 34, is he saying?
Yeah, I think he says getting Kennedy and Murray and bench Son in 32, Kennedy in 33. So maybe that means he wants to, instead of getting Austin a wild card, getting Murray and Kennedy and leaving in the money for Lukaku eventually. I think that's what he's saying.
Got it.
Then he has to play Murray or Kennedy this week.
I mean, I think Murray's a pretty good option for the next two anyway. It's
How else would he get Lukaku if he kept this team as it is now?
Either way, I think right now he's been booking transfer. He's booked 2 transfers for 34, from what I could read, in either option, right?
Yep. So he would downgrade Mkhitaryan to a cheapo. Since he's not bench boosting, that cheapo could be Kennedy in 34, and then Abu to Lukaku. Kennedy will rise once or twice then, but that should be fine. It's still cheap. I think I'd stick with this team.
Yeah, I think this is stronger because I trust like Arsenal more than Brighton.
Yeah, and I agree. I think those are good moves, though. I mean, Kennedy does free up all that cash from Mickey, so yeah.
Yep. Okay. Oh, I think this is his question too. Oh yeah, we just answered it basically. Should I go Austin instead of Murray? Okay, here's Phil's team.
Quite template again.
Yep, he is triple captain in 37 like Yusuf, so a little different.
He's got the same strategy as mine.
Yep.
Sorry, let's go quickly back. I mean, Austin instead of Murray, did we answer that fully? I mean, I don't... I'm not.
Benching Murray for the next two, surely, with Mkhitaryan in there. So
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah,
He would be.
Okay.
He kept this team. Yeah.
I'm catching up. I'm slow.
So yeah, I would get Austin there.
Convention this week. So he's asking, I think, getting Austin now instead of Murray benching.
Yep, I like the Austin move, but what's his route again to like Lukaku or Kane? I guess he's going to downgrade Mkhitaryan in 34, probably.
Probably. Yeah. Aubameyang, Lukaku, and get a cheapie for Mkhitaryan.
Yep.
He's bench boosting in 34 though, so then Kennedy's not really an option.
Look, he can get somebody like a Gross.
Yeah,
1.
he can. Yeah. The only thing that he'll have Gross for 37. Oh no, he's not bench boosting, so we could bench him then. Okay. Yeah, I would keep the team as is, and then Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan to Lukaku and someone like that.
I would do Austin for Murray and change keep everything else the same.
Okay.
Top marks. What about you? Any comments here?
I think I agree. I think all the teams are fairly similar in a way. So we're sort of
That's how we all roll here. We all are groupthink together.
Yeah.
Not us, it seems to be the pretty much the entire community, scouts, fix everywhere.
Yeah. It's what you prefer. I mean, yeah. I think
Earlier
if you get
Twitter,
Murray now, you have to play him for the next two. That's the only thing.
and I was having a discussion with Gargamel on Twitter about possibly trying to get Kane and Lukaku both in your team. And my point was it's about 25% of your budget. So that's like if you're normally in a normal week where you need only like 11 players who start, 11 players who are strong, you could probably manage. But spreading 75% of your money among 13 players means on average less than 6 mil per spot. I really don't think it's worth spoiling the balance of your team to get like, let's say, two big hitters up top. Because I would say somebody like Alonso and Vardy probably outscores, let's say, a Kane or a Lukaku and a 4.5 defender for the same price. Because you can only captain one of them, Kane or Lukaku. You can't captain them both.
Yep. No, that's a good point.
No, I completely agree with you. I think they're both the prices they have. You don't want both unless you have a huge TV. But you just want Kane or Lukaku, and I prefer Kane definitely. But yeah, you only want one or two captain options in your team, and you've got Salah. So
exactly.
Okay.
What do we think about? It's interesting on the Scoutcast, Mark talking about Brighton at home, and they've been beaten a couple of times, especially by Liverpool, with teams who play on the counter very well.
Yeah.
And that could suit Vardy. And do we think Vardy's really a must-have? I mean, he should, for the next two games, especially Brighton away, he could do very well leading the counter-attack.
I think definitely strikers are creatures who like to score goals. Now, he scored against Chelsea right before the international break. He scored for England 3-4 days earlier. And I think that's just a positive sign overall for Vardy.
Yeah, I definitely think definitely through 34. I wouldn't say he's essential, but he's up there. I mean, I think he's probably one of the better options. If you look at post 34, you could make a case Crystal Palace away is not the best. He will have a double in 37, one of those West Ham at home and then Arsenal, and then he's at Spurs to end it. So if you're looking to move on, I would say after the 34 double. But definitely for up to now, I think he's one of the three you need to have in your front line.
So what do you think? My question, I guess, really around Brighton was that having been beaten convincingly by Liverpool, and I can't remember, was it Arsenal, the other team who caught them on the break? No, they beat Arsenal, of course, didn't they? But do you think they'll change their strategy, knowing that teams will come to play counter? I think they'll approach differently, given the result they had against Liverpool, and therefore maybe limit Vardy's chances? Or do you think there's little chance of Brighton changing their style at home?
It's a good question, and I think it'll probably be a bit of both, because the way they look at it, and from what I have read, they're really a lot about the home form. They really want to buy into the whole thing about making your home ground a fortress. And they've been saying in interviews that the next two home games could probably guarantee them safety. So I think they'll try to win. They might try to keep the defensive line a bit deeper, not allow Vardy space to run into. But I definitely think they'll not set up as defensively because they want the points, I would say, more than Leicester. They would probably look at it as a winnable fixture.
Yeah, so still good opportunities for Vardy on the counter, we feel.
I think so. And is he on penalties or is Mahrez? Sorry, did you guys hear me? Is he on penalties or is Mahrez?
Mahrez missed one, didn't he, recently? So
did he? I don't recall really. I know Vardy missed one when he shot it straight against Mignolet, but I think then he took one after that as well.
Yeah.
I think Vardy's on pens.
Okay.
I can check.
I mean, it's probably going to be either one of them, right? The Vardy or Mahrez.
Yeah, it's not going to matter in this team because he has them both. No, I agree. And Leicester is still fighting. Are they still in a shot for Europe? I would think, right?
I remember someone telling me that, but I think it comes down to the FA Cup thing. If like a team that's not already going to be in the Europa League is in the FA Cup winner or runner-up, something like that. But yeah. I think the FA Cup winner gets the Europa League spot.
They do. So if Leicester or Saints win it, they would take the Europa League spot, and only the sixth place team would get the third one.
Yeah, but now let's say like if the final is something like let's say Chelsea, Spurs, or Chelsea like United, then it wouldn't matter because both the teams are already in Europe.
Right, but then the seventh place team gets it, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Chelsea would already be in the Europa League?
Potentially.
Yeah.
So reserve my comments after this weekend.
All right. Last Rate My Team we have is Pirlo's. He didn't really give any questions, I don't think. So
yeah, I'm not saying anything about this. I don't speak about teams with men of no honor. Speaking of men of no honor, look who joined us.
Hello, men of honor. How are you doing?
Papa's back. Hey.
Hello.
How you doing, men of honor? So who is on the? I can just see two people, if I'm not mistaken.
My camera doesn't work.
Yeah, we got Top Marks, Zofar, and myself, Prof.
Cool. Hey, Top Marks. Now you're.
Hey, good. How are you, Prophet?
Not too bad. I have 5 minutes, so you guys use me to the best of your ability.
I don't think you put your team on right, Prof. I don't think we've discussed anything related to your team.
We have.
Yeah, I didn't put it in because there's not much to discuss, honestly. I've made my transfers. I'm not taking a hit. Free hit 34, wildcard 36, bench boost 37. Pretty straightforward for me. The only thing that it's up in the air at the moment is whether I bench Hegazi or me. Or maybe Aubameyang versus Salah captain. Those are the only things that I'm pondering. Other than that, I'm pretty set.
I mean, for the first one, we have to wait to see who TFF is bringing in, don't we?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he won't be Higazi. So me might be dead.
He's gonna score a hat trick after being released from the shackles of TFF.
Exactly, like easily like push a hat trick in, a couple of assists as well, and gets like a 35-point haul. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious.
We have late risers team tier 2 further down the agenda if you want to talk about that.
And mine further down.
Yeah, I was leaving yours next. Yep, absolutely. So this is late risers on the agenda. If you can see there, nothing in the.
Did we miss somebody? Who did we just do?
We just did. Well, we skipped over Pirlo. We could go back to Pirlo. He didn't really ask a question. Team looks fine.
Who?
Yeah. All right. So. Yeah, team looks fine. I mean, if you're not asking a question, that's fine.
I can't see a team nor a name. Sorry, I can't see anything there. Just a blank page. Can you just move to the actual teams?
So I put this graphic in there, which is showing chances conceded from set plays. I just thought it was interesting. The teams on there, like Crystal Palace, Everton, Stoke, and thinking about goal-scoring defenders. with Van Dijk who's just scored. We've got Otamendi who just scored. Van Dijk, of course, has Everton and Palace next. I mean, those are chances for him to get a goal. Do we think? I mean, looking at late risers team, do you think getting Van Dijk in instead of Robertson might be an idea?
I would ship Robertson, and I think he's worth a spot, if that makes any sense. Because I'm not sure he's going to play all the games now that SCL is around the corner and he is the first choice. So I wouldn't be moving with him in my wildcard team if I was wildcarding. So
would you go with Van Dijk?
Van Dijk, Prof? Just got
yeah, if he, I would ignore a Liverpool defender. My reasoning behind, I mean, they can keep a clean sheet, sure, obviously, but I just don't think. I just don't think that.
Clean sheet because Palace are sort of their bogey team. They usually score against them, especially at Sellers Park.
Yeah.
So, and then the Everton away derby. So, I don't think the fixtures are that great for clean sheets as it is.
Yeah. So he's doing this team in prep for 35 then, because he's free hitting in 34.
Yeah.
Van Dijk makes the most sense. It would be great to know which City defender we think will play in 35, because that might even be better.
I think it's Otamendi, honestly.
I do too. I don't trust Pep worth a stone's throw, but the safer bet would be Robertson to Van Dijk, I think, in this case.
Yeah, all depends on the midweek as well.
Yeah, it's hard to predict. We are pretty much. There's no real way to say it honestly or accurately at this point of time. Whatever we do.
I mean, 35. I think City, Arsenal, Liverpool. They don't have a midweek game in 34, so we can pretty much. I would expect them to play their strongest sides in 35. I think 33 is the risk for Liverpool and City because the Champions League tie is on the Tuesday.
I agree with you completely, Top Marks.
But then don't they have if City progress, won't they have that first leg of that UCL tie on that midweek of 35, like after the game week?
That's right. Huh? But why rest your players for 10 days? You know, you'd play them, surely you'd play them and maybe take them off early, but you would still start them in 35, I think.
Right, I get that. But then at the same time, you probably wouldn't play them for your 90 minutes, give them some to stay sharp.
Yeah, 36 is a risk. I think 36 is a risk.
Yeah, that's where I wild card. On that note, I'll have to leave you, gents. Work is calling me, unfortunately.
Thanks, Buff.
See you guys.
On that point, Top Marks, if you're using the wild card now, maybe getting a state defender in is not valuable because you might not have them in 36.
Yeah, you've got to be able to. You've got to have a plan for 36. I mean, I think if you're free hitting in 34, you have a transfer in 35 and you have a transfer in 36. So if you're looking to get Kane in, then you could also maybe downgrade a defender at that point.
True. Yeah, you could downgrade Otamendi at that point.
Yeah.
All right, we go on to your plan. Top Mark, you want to take us through it?
Sure. I mean, it's similar to late risers. Why I put us both together because we're both in the free hit 34 camp.
Right.
So there's not much differences between late risers team and my team. I've gone for Van Dijk instead of Robertson. I've got Maguire in there. I'm a little bit iffy on Maguire, but I think he's a goal threat. It was really a question of whether I should just put Alonso in there now. I've got Otamendi, and I got him quite early, so I sort of loathe to part with him, but I do feel he is a rotation risk. And maybe it's Van Dijk is less of a rotation risk at Liverpool than Otamendi is at City. But should I just put Alonso in? I don't know. That's really my first question.
Well, if you're free hitting in 34, you got to look at only the two fixtures Alonso has up until then. And with one of them being Spurs, it might not make as much sense to keep Maguire in rather than getting Alonso now. I know Zof is a very big Maguire fan. I think he has the attacking threat. Your team's a little bit different than mine in terms of when you're free hitting. So I kind of like the fact you have Maguire in here now versus getting Alonso for these next two.
Yeah. Sorry.
That being said, are you playing Maguire this week?
Yes.
You're playing VVD, Maguire, Mustafi, and benching Tompkins and Dummett.
Correct.
I would almost consider Dummett over Maguire this week, maybe. If you want
That was pretty much, if it was Morgan instead of Dummett, it would be a no-brainer. I would say Dummett, but you're pretty much playing Maguire only for the attacking threat, I feel then.
Yes.
So that becomes like what JK calls the Cocker principle.
Mm.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Did I
could
just
keep
hear-
Otamendi instead of Maguire and get Maguire next week.
But again,
Or
then,
get Alonso.
so you mean Otamendi this week and then switch to Maguire next?
I could do that.
That might work out.
Might work, but I really like Newcastle for a clean sheet this week because Huddersfield, I saw the game for almost 80 minutes last week against Palace, and they wouldn't have scored if the game went on for another 300 minutes. They were absolutely awful. And Newcastle are pretty strong at home.
Okay.
And so then how worried should be not owning one of those four guys?
Willian, Son, Gross, or Vardy.
In order, I'd probably go Vardy, probably the one you should worry about the most. Then Son.
Then Willian, then Gross, right?
Yeah. With Gross's fixtures, I wouldn't be overly concerned about not owning him.
Welcome back, JK. Didn't hear you before.
Yeah, I'm just curious of one thing, Top Marks, on this. Like, there is a post somewhere, although I can't remember who. I just keep hearing this voice randomly going on. That really likes Maguire. But I'm curious as to, I'm not convinced Maguire is worth 1.2 million more than Morgan.
It's the look. I think he's got great attacking threat, and he's top of my. I've got a defenders table I create in Fantasy Football Scout, and he's the number one attacking defender at the moment, and that's why
Yeah, so was Colker a few years ago.
Yeah, it's a stats pick. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, okay. But you know, it is an indication. I think they've got good fixtures as well.
So they've got good fixtures, but then they're not good at keeping clean sheets.
So would you put Otamendi in that position instead?
I'd be tempted to. I mean, I've owned Maguire this season. I find Maguire really frustrating to own because he never scores when you expect him to. Like, I'm sure most of his goals and assists have come in like the trickier fixtures. I'm just gonna have a quick look.
I know he scored against United. That's one of
he scored against United. I'm sure he's assisted against Liverpool or something like that.
Yeah, that's correct. He assisted against
Arsenal.
Absolutely right on that, JK.
Goal against United.
Against Brighton.
Yeah, but goal against Brighton. That's when Brighton were really bad. I think second or third week of the season.
Yeah. No, it was actually a couple of weeks ago. Oh yeah, game week 1. Yeah, game week 2. Yeah, you're right. Game week 2. So I'm not convinced on this that 5.6 for Maguire is necessarily a great buy. It depends on what you're going to do with the cash, though, I suppose.
I mean, I could put Alonso in there instead of Maguire.
Is it a new buy for you, Maguire, or have you had him for a while?
New buy.
All right, so yeah, then I agree with JK. It might not be. I know the only people I'm talking to who are keeping Maguire in a lot of the wildcard teams because they bought him at $5 million.
Yeah.
Again, it's only it's a 2-week buy, but then you're going to keep him in through to 37.
Yeah, I'd probably keep Maguire just for the attacking threat.
Yep.
Well, I mean, if you're comfortable playing Maguire every week, then keep him. But he's not someone I would ever feel comfortable benching.
Yeah,
and there becomes my risk.
Yep.
With him.
Yeah, I wouldn't bench him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's why I went Morgan because I'm very comfortable benching Morgan when the fixtures are.
Because there's Palace away in like 36 and Spurs away in 38 and 32. That's the 3 hard fixtures defensively for Leicester.
Zofar, who do Chelsea have in 33?
West Ham at the Bridge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I might lean. Maybe getting Alonso now isn't a bad idea.
And then playing Dummett this week or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
benching
Dummett
Alonso.
not a bad shout for this week.
You don't bench Alonso. You know he's going to
Never
score.
would bench Alonso.
Yeah, don't bench him. Yeah, if you're going to buy Alonso, Alonso's the same as Maguire. If you have him, do not bench him.
But wouldn't that be amazing? Playing Dummett over Alonso, and then Dummett gets a clean sheet.
Alonso gets 3 goals.
And Alonso, and Alonso scored a braces or something.
That's definitely a smooth for the Scoutcast if you do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to move on to your third question? I think, or did we answer your?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I mean, I was also throwing in some benching questions, but I'm happy with Tompkins. I like Tompkins. I like my defenders with goal threat, and I think Tompkins is another one. And, you know, if there is, because I've got to think about my team slightly differently in terms of how I use the bench, because there could be benchings because of Champions League and Europa League. So I think I'd be happy having Tompkins coming in a non-double game week. I think Palace's fixtures are good, and I think he's got a bit of goal threat, and he's only 4.4. And then moving on, it was really a question about the goalkeeper. I'm probably going to go McCarthy. I might go Hennessy. I can't quite decide. Dubravka just feels he's had one good match.
When are you free hitting in 35 top marks?
34.
Who's your other goalkeeper?
So you want someone who has
Edison in 35.
Sorry?
Edison in 35.
Oh, Edison, right. Okay, so you don't really need Dubravka for 35 then.
Not really.
Although I'd be inclined to go that way just in case Bravo shows up.
I could also go with Hennessy because Hennessy plays 35.
Yep. If you have Edison, I think Hennessy is a safe bet.
Yeah.
I would lean towards Hennessy too. I think in this case, Dubravka gives you also a good 36.
Yeah.
You need that. In case, like you said, in case City guys get rested in 36 afterwards after the Champions League second.
I mean, me personally, if you've got Tompkins and Dummett, so you're either doubling on Palace or doubling on Newcastle, I personally would rather double on Newcastle.
Okay. I think I prefer Palace just because of the way I just feel they're in a bit of form, and I feel Zaha coming back, and I think Hodgson's a good manager. I remember what he did with Fulham. I thought he did, he made them a very solid shape. The players knew what they were doing. I just think they've been unlucky with the results recently.
Oh, I don't rate Hudson. I just don't rate Hennessy.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think there's been a reason that both De Boer, Hodgson, and even Allardyce before him were all trying to sign goalkeepers. And even Pardew brought in Mandanda. It seems obvious to me that there's something they don't quite believe in Hennessy completely. And remember that Speroni was starting every week until he got injured.
Yeah.
It's just me. I see where you're going with the top marks. I don't rate Hennessy, but that's just me.
Okay.
Alternate defense.
Yeah, I could go for a heavy hitting defense and just throw.
I tried that earlier this year when I wildcard on game week 6, and it worked for 1 week out of 8. I mean, it didn't help.
My defense is pretty heavy at the minute.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's also not only a benching headache; it's a rotation headache too. With Arsenal, with City, with Liverpool.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but does the rotation headache get rid of the benching headache?
Well, who would be the 2 midfielders you sit every week?
Well, I wouldn't. I would probably bench one of those guys. I'd probably bench Maguire this week, for instance. But I mean, if there's going to be rotation, then my bench comes into play. So I don't need. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, it could work. I mean, the fixtures definitely line up for those guys.
It depends on what sacrifices you're making elsewhere in your attack by going so heavy here.
It would be exactly the same attack. I just wouldn't get Alonso.
Got it.
So you would still have Salah, Mahrez, Sterling, Mickey.
Yes.
All right. So then if you go 4-4-2, then you'd be sitting Deeney, I would assume, some weeks. He has good fixtures on 33 and 36 and 35.
I probably wouldn't sit Deeney. I would probably be expecting a benching at some point, right? From those teams still involved in Europe. So
okay. I see what you're saying. So you're hedging that you'll get a rotation somewhere in there, and you have it covered no matter which team rotates.
Right.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I would probably bench Otamendi next week and play Maguire.
For what it's worth, I don't think we'll score at City.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I haven't kept Lukaku. I think Lukaku probably outscores Aubameyang this week, but next week I think it's just a flat 2 for Lukaku.
Yeah, I'm in a different category anyway, but that's why I think Aubameyang is a better shout over 2 games than Lukaku.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a big fan of Lukaku. I think the goals are going to get more spread out amongst the United players, and Aubameyang, Arsenal play for him. They want him to put the ball in the net. I think he's the better pick. But there we are. Thanks.
Yep. No worries.
Just going back to 34 top marks, what do you think about, let's say now, because I don't think Kane's going to make this game. From the comments and Pot's body language I got, he probably just playing mind games now. Let's say we see Kane starting next weekend. How confident would you be of him starting City at home, Brighton away, and the Cup semi? So close.
I think when Kane's fit, he plays. So I think he would start those matches. But it's like when he came back after injury. I remember watching him against Real Madrid, and he wasn't up to speed. We don't know until we see him if he's lost any sharpness. And he had lost sharpness last time.
Takes a couple of running. Yep, I agree.
Just on the same subject, before you guys joined, Swan and I were discussing it. Would you guys actually consider Kane on, say, a free hit 34 plan instead of, say, Vardy, and downgrading somewhere else to fit him in, if we see evidence of him being worthwhile in sort of 33?
So the question is getting Kane in 33 for Vardy?
No, in 34 instead of Vardy. Let's say on a free hit in 34. So instead of having Lukaku, Vardy, and Austin, you have Lukaku, Kane, and Austin.
I was mentioning this earlier, Jake. The problem with that is you're tying up too much money with something like a Lukaku and Kane, because something like a Kane or let's say if you get Vardy or Alonso, that probably still outscores something like Kane and 4.5 defender, which costs you around 1.5 million more.
Yeah, that's where I'm at the minute. So if I got, say, Vardy, I could go for, say, Bailly alongside Alonso and somebody else, a Morgan or a Maguire. Whereas if I got Kane, I'm probably going with one of Alonso or Bailly and somebody like Loughton or Tarkowski.
Yeah, so there are too many sacrifices elsewhere, I feel, especially when, I don't know, you can captain only one of them. So I think you should take your pick. I'm not saying Kane is a bad pick, but I think it should be either or.
Right. What about when it comes to a wild card, though, for 37?
That's a bit far off. And I don't like United fixtures that much in 37. I think the 34 is far better. Because West Brom...
Yeah, I'm considering that myself. But Aubameyang might be a better pick than Lukaku by then.
Yeah, because I like... Because look at United's double. It's West Brom, who we know are West Brom. Nothing needs to be said. And Bournemouth at home always concede. So I really like that particular double. The one by 37, United might have already clinched the second spot.
Yeah, and if they're in the cup final, then...
sort of drops off a little bit. West Ham might have more to play for. at that point, it's too hard to say what the scenario is
Yeah.
going to be.
All right. Anyway, whatever's next, we'll move on. Whatever's next on the agenda.
The top marks we have, is this also part of your team or?
No, I mean, that's the end of the agenda. That's just now into
Oh, that's it. Okay.
planning. That was it.
That's
So any
fine.
other business, really.
Okay. Do we have burning questions? Is that for you? Is that for everybody else, I think?
That was for before. It's okay.
Oh, we're done. Okay. Sounds
We're
good.
done.
This actually worked out really good, I think, having everything here. Do we want to take a look in the group if anybody forgot to post the team?
Thanks.
I'll
Together,
have a
top
quick
mark.
check.
Missed that, sorry.
I was sorry. I just wanted to thank Top Marks for putting this together. This was really nice.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. This is great.
You're
Tom,
welcome.
we'll keep I'll keep blasting the hell out of it on the group so people more people get used to using it because this has been really good.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
Can we keep this updated every week? Like, just this one file?
That's what I was thinking. I was also thinking of changing it to a spreadsheet because inserting pictures is really a bit of a pain with the formatting. And it might just be easier if just people type their teams out into a spreadsheet, but we can set a template up that we just update every week.
Yep.
That's true.
So we can get Jossie to do something with the spreadsheet once he's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Only other thing I had was CCL final is this week. JK and IM. I'm not going to compare teams because they're both wildcarding, but
Yeah, it's Jack's, isn't it? Yeah.
Jack, sorry, not JK. JK.
Yeah.
Alcoholic Nations. I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. It's going to come down to captain's pick, I feel, because they've both been talking totally different people. I think one Salah, one Aubameyang. So we'll see what happens.
They're both going to go Salah.
Probably in the end, yeah. So then it'll come down to what garbage defenders they pick, but we'll see.
Yep.
All right.
I think it is pretty strong. I think like most teams from what I've seen, at least from wildcard, about 10 or 11 players are identical.
Yep.
Such is the Conch template as ever.
Yep.
All right. So I guess we'll wrap it up.
Can I just ask one final question?
Thank you all for joining. We'll see you all.
I might want to say something. Yeah.
One
Want
final
to say
question.
something?
Yeah, go ahead.
One final question, just to get this straight. How would you prioritize in defenders? I'm still stuck on this, actually. Who would you go? You're free hitting in 34. Otamendi, Van Dijk, Alonso, Maguire, Mustafi. Which 2 or 3 do you pick out of that?
For just this week or the next two?
For the next, you're on a wild card. I'm thinking up to 35. I'm going to play them in 35. I'm free hitting.
Yeah.
I do Mustafi up there too because of his schedule he has.
Mustafi and Alonso would probably be my first two, and Van Dijk probably because of the 35 fixture.
Okay.
Yep. Same order.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Have a great game week.
Okay.
Talk to you next time.
See you later.